Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Aaron220, and I'm bringing you guys the final week of IBA Season 3. It has been a long road. We have had a lot of fuck-ups, whether it's with recording, building, playing, but we somehow made finals. We hacked Snick round 1, we got lucky Dougal misprepped round 2, and round 3 was a very interesting game for finals, let's just say. I spent more than I've ever building in my life. More than I've ever spent building my life, I should say. I think I spent like around 4 hours on this team, went through 7 different iterations. For someone who I normally don't struggle that much against, but at the same time though, he has more wins over me before this game. I think it was like 2-1. Whether that changes or not, you'll find out, but he used 2-1 going into this game against me. So I was a little nervous. I was also a little nervous because I lost to him earlier in the season. That game I do remember I uploaded because that was the first game I uploaded when I got back to recording games, luckily. So yeah, let's get right into this. First up, we have Tapu Bulu with, I actually ran a special Bulu this week. Main reason being is I did several different mocks. I think I did at least double digits in the mocks this week for some reason. I kept getting Will-O-Wisp on a lot of my team, and my only other Mon at the time was Nidoqueen. I went into later iterations and I had more special mons, such as Bulu, for example. But I figured that Bulu, if it's not burned, can actually be a very good Rotom Wash counter. And I figured that even better, if I don't need to worry about burn, then I could just counter Rotom Wash anyway. Toxic also hurts his team fairly well with mons such as Goodra that might switch in on me, especially a Sap Spur Goodra potentially, or even just Gooey. Still, Toxic helps a lot with that. Same as the Nature's Madness as well, helps with a lot of potential switch-ins. HP Fire is also in case if he brings a Scizor, as I can bait in the Scizor with my Bulu and then just HP Fire on the switch, and it does a fuck ton of damage. It doesn't kill, especially not if he has any bulk investment. After Rocks has a chance to kill if he's no bulk at all, but unless he's like no bulk at all, it will be pretty much a 2-hit KO. I expected the Scizor, as Scizor fluxed me up in a lot of my mocks, as I also expected Gardevoir, as Gardevoir could be a really nice potential answer to Hawlucha with Unburden, as it could trace my Unburden and then kill me as it lives on, let's say, a Sash, or if it's really defensive in a berry and I haven't gotten set up yet, and then revenge off the rest of my team, assuming that Metagross has died. So I was really scared of that. That kind of explains a lot of my sets later on in the build. Next up, we have Yoshiko, our Hawlucha. I brought Sub, Swords Dance, Drain Punch, Acrobatics. If I can keep the Sub up against Gardevoir when it does come in, it cannot trace my Unburden, which does help my matchup against it, as well as it also wouldn't have any way to revenge me off. So even if it's, let's say, a Sash Gardevoir and preserves a Sash, I can always get 2 Acrobatics off guaranteed with the set, even if I'm not set up with Swords Dance. So no matter what his investment, he will in fact lose to me. And as I said, he won't be able to trace my Unburden because he will not have, well, because I will have had my Sub up. So Swords Dance also is really nice to set up behind the Sub. Drain Punch and Acrobatics hurts his team really badly, especially Acro once I get the seed off, though even then I can still hit Mega Venusaur fairly well should I need to bring this thing in earlier to revenge it off. Next up, we have xxTentacENDxx, our Metagross. I went through several different Metagrosses this week. Several different builds had or did not have Metagross. I decided ultimately on an Occaberry Metagross as a way to revenge off Victini. I was earlier, I think I brought Shuckaberry as potential for things such as the... Well, I brought, not Shuckaberry, I never went to Shucka. I did consider it though for Crook, but then I realized he could just knock me off. I did bring AV on several builds as well as leftovers. Main reasons being for Gardevoir, as I said, did a lot to my team. But I ultimately realized that I'm still going to tank a Shadow Ball fairly well, even with little bulk, unless he's like a Specs Gardevoir, which in that case, he has a chance to 2-hit KO, I believe. Might even be a chance to OHKO if he's modest, but I can't remember. Ultimately, though, I decided that Occaberry helps me revenge off Victini, as I can actually take a V-Create from Victini, as well as a Blue Flare, should he go for either, and Earthquake can guarantee kill it off. I also have the Speed. The Speed is meant to outspeed, well, it's meant to speed tie with Scizor. I figured that he was probably not going to run max speed Scizor. It was also meant to outspeed something else, but I am forgetting what it was off the top of my head, if I'm being honest. HP Fire is also the 2-hit KO Scizor. Even Modest I 2-hit KO. Well, not Modest, Jolly I 2-hit KO. I meant minus special attack, but then I said Modest. My bad. So, regardless though, I do 2-hit KO any Scizor variant possible. Bullet Punch is meant to revenge off Mega Gardevoir, and Zen Headbutt hits things such as Mega Venusaur well, who kind of won my team, but at the same time not really. I'll get into that in a little bit. Next up, I have Send Bob's our Nidoqueen with the Shuckaberry. This I did decide on the Shuckaberry for, its main reason being to set up Rocks against Crook, as I figured a lead Crook could be very damning to my team. I brought Ice Beam, Sludge Wave, Stealth Rock, and Earth Power. Unless if he's Yachi Berry, I do almost always KO, if not 2-hit KO, against any Crook set. Obviously, a set such as AV could definitely take it if he's not Yachi. And also if he's a Spidef Crook, that could take it better as well. Overall, though, it just hits Crook very well, as well as mons like Noivern. The speed is meant to outspeed Scizor, as I could still do a fuck ton of damage with Earth Power. I think with Metagross I meant to outspeed, but I just never put in the right investment. That's probably why I ended up speed tying it and couldn't remember what I was trying to outspeed. But overall, though, I did mean for Nidoqueen to outspeed Scizor, though, just because I could still 2-hit KO it with Earth Power. Next up, we have Slifer, our Dragonite, with Earthquake, Dragon Dance, Dragon Claw, and Roost, holding the Dragonium Z. I went with the slightly bulky Dragonite, mainly to outspeed Goodra and Gardevoir as well. If I can get to +1, then I outspeed any potential Scarfs on either of them. I also have Earthquake to hit his team fairly well, and Dragon Claw. With the Dragonium Z, if I can get to +1, I can OHKO Rotom, no matter what set it is. So if I can, let's say, set up on the Switch and then just kill it off with a Dragonium Z Dragon Claw, I am OHKOing Rotom. I believe it OHKOs any set, even if I don't have Rocks up. If not, I know I definitely at the very least do OHKO after Rocks. I also 2-hit KO Mega Venusaur at that point, so I can't actually synthesis this up on me. However, HP Ice from a especially offensive Mega Venusaur could hurt a little bit. Same as Glaciate Victini could potentially be a problem for the set, but otherwise, he really can't break the set that well at all. And finally, though, I do have a Mega Blastoise this week. I brought Gra as our last member. I was really indifferent on what I wanted this mon to be, whether it was Mega Blastoise. I also had Zeraora at one point, but I realized that Zeraora actually had an awful matchup. I went through several different Zeraoras to just fight Neem Z for Crook. I brought Scarf to prevent off his Scarf Crook. I brought Z Bounce for Mega Venusaur, which actually still only 2-hit KO'd, but it did a decent amount of damage. This Sly at one point also belonged to Poipole, because I thought that my answer was, well, I thought that my issue was not having a dedicated switch in to to not only burn, but also to really just a sack. So I had a Rest Talk Poipole at one point in my builds. Quickly realized how wrong that was. I'm just looking at my team for 1 second, so bear with me. Let's see, what else did I have? Because I sort of forget what my draft is, if I'm being completely honest. I'm just trying to remember, because it's been a while since I've built with this team, so I'm just trying to remember what other ones I went through. I didn't actually go to Blaziken. Oh yeah, Sneasel and Arrow. Those were the two other mons that I went to. So basically, I went through everything on this team at one point, besides Blaziken. Main reason being is just Blaziken kind of had an ass matchup. If it was Scarfed and Crook was Scarfed, it didn't really work. So basically, it was really just dependent on Crook for Blaziken. And I figured that if I had to bring a fighting type, I was bringing Hawlucha every time. And I did try and make Blaziken work, but I never brought it to any of my final drafts of my teams. Everything else I did bring, I tried things such as Z-Fly Arrow. I brought Sash Lead Arrow with Taunt. I tried Bandit Sneasel, Life Orb Sneasel. I even tried a Scar Sneasel at one point. So as I said, I brought a lot of different variations of sets. I am very happy with the team that I brought overall, and let's get right into the actual game. And we are back with the game. So he brings Goodra, Victini, Crocodile, Rotom Wash, Noivern, and Mega Venusaur. My ideal lead was to lead off with Send Bob's the Nidoqueen. I figured that regardless, I can get up Rocks if he leads Crook. I can Ice Beam if he doesn't, or if he leaves the Rotom, I can go for a Sludge Wave potentially, or even just switch out into Bulu, as Bulu can hard counter this set this week. So he actually leads off with Noivern. I wasn't sure what Noivern was going to do, but I figured that I can Ice Beam regardless, because no matter what he pivots into, I'm fine. He actually U-turns here, and he goes into Goodra. So I figured that from this Ice Beam, he was pretty specially defensive, as he took that very well, though it might have just been because I didn't have a Life Orb. I get up my Rocks here and just scout what he's going to do, because I'm going to live any hit from this Goodra. See that he's going to go for Muddy Water, and I decide that I'm going to go right into my Mega Blastoise, because I figure that Mega Blastoise can take any hit from this Goodra, unless if he goes for like a Thunder on this turn. He actually reads me perfectly and goes into Mega Venusaur, which means I do have to switch into Metagross here, as if he goes for Sludge Bomb, I cannot bring my Bulu. Bulu would otherwise take any hit, but I figure that he's not going to do much with Earthquake anyway. And I go for Earthquake here thinking Victini would actually switch in on my Zen Headbutt, and he goes into Crook, which is fine too. The crit actually is really nice. I didn't want to risk a Bullet Punch though, because even though I do have a chance to kill with Bullet Punch, there's still a roll that I don't, and I don't want to risk. So he goes for Stone Edge, actually predicting my switch, and I go into Hawlucha, because I figured that I can Drain Punch whatever does come in. It's not like there's a bad reason to just Drain Punch. So I get Scout. I saw that the Rotom came in, which means I am able to go right into my Nidoqueen. I just want to sack at this point, and then just bring in something else later on. He misses the Hydro Pump, which is very, very unfortunate for my opponent, as this would have helped him a lot. I also crit the Sludge Wave here, which again mattered a lot, but it's fine, as Nidoqueen did go down after doing a lot of damage to the Rotom. It now cannot come down Rocks anymore. which is very, very nice for me. I bring in Metagross here. My bad, I'm thinking of ICBA. I bring in Metagross here and just go for Zen Headbutt. There is no real reason not to, because even if Crook came in after Rocks, it is now in Bullet Punch range. So I now switch in my Mega Blastoise. I figured that I could take any hit from the Scooter that I want to, and potentially Toxic, whatever comes in, or even just go for Ice Beam, which I figured that Mega Venusaur could come in as well. And ultimately, I decided to Mega Evolve and just click Ice Beam, as I thought about it a little more and figured that Mega Venusaur coming in was a lot more likely than Victini or Noivern, or really anything else, as everything else died to an Ice move or a Water move. He synthesizes up as I bring in my Metagross. Very good play for him. I decide here that I'm just going to go for Zen Headbutt, as I said, anything else did not take a Zen Headbutt well besides Victini or Crook, and Crook died to a Bullet Punch. Guja now died to a Bullet Punch after Zen Headbutt, and luckily we have Clear Body, so we don't get affected by Gooey, and Victini could not kill me off with a V-Create, and I could just kill it with Earthquake. So Metagross here putting the finest to work. He actually goes for a Blue Flare, and we take that fairly well, and I just kill him off here with Earthquake, or at the very least, I don't actually kill him off, but I do get him in Bullet Punch range now, so I still do kill him off, just not with the Earthquake per se. So I've now gotten 3 kills of this Metagross this game, putting in the finest of work. I decide here, I'm just going to go into Mega Blastoise. I can take any hit fairly well from this Noivern. He goes for a Draco, I take another one unless he crits, and I can just kill him with Ice Beam. So he brings the Mega Venusaur here to take my Ice Beam, as it's his best switch into it by far. I figure that's perfectly fine. I don't really care. I can just go right into Bulu, as I thought that maybe he would try and read me and go for something to hit the Metagross. He did not, which, I mean, doesn't really matter to me. I figured I kind of want to just sweep with Hawlucha at this point, as I could stall him out all I want, but in the end, I'd rather just kill him off with Hawlucha and just get this over with. So he does try and just Giga Drain here. I thought that he might be potentially trying to stall at my Grassy Terrain turns, but in the end, I figured that no matter what, even if my Grassy Terrain turns are stalled out, I can get him low enough for Metagross or Mets to kill him off. He does kill me off with Bulu, which just means he essentially just threw the game at that point. It didn't really matter, as no matter what, Mets had won at this point in the game. So I do just kill him off with Acrobatics here with Hawlucha. He can bring Crook or Noivern. No matter what, I do win the game at this point with Hawlucha or Mega Blastoise. I kill him off with Acrobatics on Noivern, and then Crook will come in and it just dies to a Drain Punch, as it is literally at like 22 HP. So it will no matter what die. So very good game to my opponent. We have finally got our first title. We have won IBA Season 3. It has been a long season, but we have finally done it. We have finally gotten our title. Going to other leagues that will be announced soon on the channel. ICBA, of course, is already going on. That will go up on Monday for our first week. MPL is going on as well. We had our game go up yesterday for that, and we have another week going up next Friday. We have another league as well that I am very excited to announce. I will announce that, though, at a later date, as it will become relevant at that later date. But I am going to be going with this title. I'm going to be running house. I'm going to be taking names. And yeah, that's going to be it. If you guys enjoyed our IBA run, leave a like down below. If you guys want to comment anything else down below, leave that down below as well, my bad. Drop a like, of course. Subscribe if you want to see some more league content. Also, check out everyone in the IBA this season. They were all phenomenal coaches to be around. I would not have wanted anyone else to have been in those places, because if anyone else was, I might not have gotten a title. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.